Congratulations, you are getting ready to embark upon your journey of hiring a contractor to fix up and sell, or either fix up and hold your next piece of real estate. I am so excited for you. So today's video, we're gonna go over my 21 mistakes of hiring contractors since 2004. So some of you submitted, some of my Roundup family submitted things to put on here, and I'm gonna give you credit for that. But you took the time, you were diligent. You saved your money up, you applied for a loan, you got your credit straight, you went out there and you were vigilant in having a vision of what you want for your future. So let's get into my mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes I did that have lost me, oh good God, hundreds of thousands. I could not imagine how much money I've lost giving it away to bad contractors. And I don't want the same for you. Let's do it. Okay, family, it's Kris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. So you have went out there, you've saved up all your money, you have got the vision for your future. You don't want to be normal. The IRS says that there's only 7% of Americans that own rental property or own multiple properties, right? So I put you in the category of the few. You are among the winners that have taken time to say, you know what? I'm not going to be ordinary. I will be extraordinary in my life, and I refuse to be average. So I'm happy for you. Give yourself a pat on the back. Very quickly, we're going to be going over my mistakes, 21 mistakes that I've made. No doubt there's more, but I want you to be able to have a guide. So when you hire these contractors, they don't just try to destroy your career like they tried to do me. So let's go over this stuff quickly. And luckily for you, I have a PDF here. We're going to give it to you in the video description so you can follow along with some other goodies that I want to just say thank you for allowing me to be one of the best channels on YouTube for real estate investing and entrepreneurship. All right, let's get into this. So number one mistake that I made, paying all the money up front to contractors. So I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten calls, or just from around the country. You know, I do coaching and training. People that gave too much money to the contractor up front. So what happens is contractors get all that money, and then they get started whenever they want to get started, if they even want to come back. So for me, one time, I never forget, like it was yesterday, these dudes were going to repair one of my fences. So they were going to charge me $1,500, and they said, you know what, Kris, all you have to do is give us $750 today, $750, and we'll start tomorrow. I'm like, cool, bet, $750, boom. Next day comes, ain't heard from the guys. I call my friend to refer them. Let me call them, I ain't hear from them. 2 days go by, 3 days go by. Do you know I gave those dudes $750 and I never heard from them again? The reason I can smile now is because if you get upset about it, if you get angry and go crazy, it's not useful, right? It doesn't do anything. So do not, I repeat, do not give the contractor all the money up front. Wait until some of the work is being completed, and we're gonna get this, how we can control the situation. See, I want you to run the job. Don't let the contractor run you, okay? All right, number two, not getting a detailed scope of work. You see, when I started out, I don't know if you're anything like me, I thought the contractor would come in. If you buy the house now, you did the big part. I did the big boy part, right? I bought the house. Now you go fix it, right? Hire the contractor. They're going to come in, look at everything from top to bottom. And they're going to tell you what needs to be done for you to fix the property up. All the stuff needs to be done. And they know, I thought they know, surely they're the contractors. They know what to do, right? Right? No, doesn't work like that. So you have to get a detailed scope of everything needs to be done. Electrical, plumbing, flooring, doors, trim, wood, lighting fixtures, plumbing fixtures. What type of tub? Is it a walk-in tub? Is it a 6-foot tub, a 5-foot tub? How high are the ceilings going to be? What color paint are we going to do? What type of flooring, tile, carpet, luxury vinyl plank? It has to be detailed. Are we moving walls? Are we going to be bringing down the headers? Are we taking out a wall? Roundup family, when you download this checklist, I'm going to give you my construction estimator 2. So that will give you a full breakdown of the scope of work. Do not let them tell you what needs to be done. You have to tell them, like, all right, what are we doing with this? What are we doing with that? If you leave it up to them, I promise you, you're going to miss something. All right. Number 3, hiring without referrals. Now, I don't want you out there just willy-nilly hiring anybody. Why not? Why not go to property management companies, go to property managers, realtors, brokers, and ask them, who do you use? Who would you recommend for me to do this job? Because they're all different types of contractors. I would not use the same guy that is doing fix and flips to do a new construction property. I wouldn't use a large contractor to do one small little job. So just get a referral from different people that are already in the business. And you can even go to your local real estate investors association and get a referral from there. If you don't know one, just go to meetup.com. You'll find one. Number 4, I didn't network at the building supply stores. So do you know you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and just hang out there on the contractor side and see who's coming and going? I highly suggest you go early in the morning, because the real guys that are doing this thing, they're going to get there 6, 7 o'clock, well, between 6 and 7, maybe 8, to get all their supplies to go get started at the job. And sometimes the great contractors will get their materials the day before. So you can go in the evening time to meet some of these dudes. Just hang around inside the buildings, or even in the parking lot, to see who shows up in those white trucks or the white vans with their information on the side of the vans. That way you can possibly find some contractors that are actually doing business right now. They may or may not be good. You have to do your due diligence, but that's where they hang out at. All right, number 5, not looking for dumpsters. So before, when I had no contractors to hire, I didn't know that I could just drive through the neighborhoods that I was interested in buying houses where I'm already doing deals. You know, you can drive through the neighborhoods and see the big, large dumpsters in the driveways. You can see who's actually flipping houses. And do you know it's not against the Constitution, or it's not illegal for you to walk up to the front door, Missy, and knock on the door and say, hey, I'm a local investor. I'm interested in seeing who did the work here and if I could possibly hire you. Hopefully the contractor will be there. Maybe you could just meet them right on the spot, but you found them from doing what? Driving around the neighborhoods looking for dumpsters. All right, take a few moments to do this. This is your career. This is your business. You have to take it upon yourself to do the work that's required to be successful. Don't depend on other people to do this for you. Number 6, paying before the work was done. Giving out money to contractors before the work was completed. Yes, you know I'm a high I on the disc analysis. So my heart goes out. I'm so empathetic. I think that's why we buy so many properties, because I'm empathetic to homeowners. Now, I never forget the dude. He had a cavity in his tooth. He had to get a tooth removed. He's like, Kris, man, I got to get my tooth. Can you please pay me? I promise you, I'll come back and get this work done. I'm like, all right, man, here you go, $3,000. I forget what it was, 3 or 4 grand. Do you know the dude never came back? We never paid contractors before the work is completed, guys. You can't round up, please. We take an oath today. I pledge never to pay a contractor before the work is completed. Why? They ain't coming back. They just won't come back. Number 7, not inspecting the work before you pay. So these two are kind of tied together. And make sure you follow along on this thing and take this every time before you hire somebody. I do the same thing. I got to follow my own rules too. You got to inspect the work. See, what happens is contractors will call you up and say, Kris, I'm done with the job. Can you go ahead and pay me? And you might be doing something else, looking at another house, might be at your job or family, home, whatever. And you'll trust their word that the work is done, right? So you'll pay them, and then you go back to the property and what? Dude, I thought you said the work was done. It might be done, but it's not done in a workmanlike manner. I want the trim to match. So for me, you have to check, as Jim Rome says, you gotta check. Go back, inspect that work before you pay, all right? Number 8, pulling city building permits. Now, before I would go down to the courthouse and pull the permits for my guys. I thought I was saving money and trying to get the job done faster because I could go down there and pull the permit. Later in my career, what we want to do is put that burden and that liability, pass it on to the contractor. You see, when you pull the permit, then you have the liability for the work, right? I don't know why I did that, but now I'm like, you know what? You licensed, you the contractor, you go pull the permit, and that way the liability lies on the person that pulls the permit. So don't be going down to the city and pulling building codes, right? Put that on them. Don't be the nice guy like me. Hey, what can I do? I used to be, what can I do? I'm always trying to figure out, what can I do? What can I do? But sometimes that gets me in trouble. So you want the contractor, put it back on the contractor to go down and pull those permits and use his license to pull those permits. Number 9, paying before passing the city inspections. So this is all grouped together, round up, homies. You gotta put all this together. So we don't want to pay before the work is done. We want to verify we're inspecting after the work is completed, and we don't want to pay out. You see, what happens is when the work gets completed, you look at it, and then you have to call the city inspector, and then they will come look at it to verify that it passes and is up to the city ordinance for whatever trade it is: plumbing, framing, electrical, whatever you're doing, roofing. So you just tell the contractor, I'm ready to pay you, but we have to get the city to get a final pass on this, right? Because because you don't know all the codes, that's not your job to know that. It's your job to find houses and find money. That's your job, which you have done so far. But let the city get that stamp of approval that the work is done, and then you pay out. So you don't want to pay them. You look at it, okay, John, work's done, boom. Then you call a city and it didn't pass the city inspector. Now you stuck because you paid the guy already, and he won't come back because there's a problem with the work, how they did the work, how they wired it out. So make sure you don't pay out before the city inspector comes out to the property, walks through, looks around, passes, gives you that city sticker. Now, I think I might be able to find a sticker, that one we just passed recently. You'll see what it looks like. It just says work approved or not approved, okay, or denied. Okay, number 10, not looking at past work. One of the mistakes that I've made from hiring contractors is not going to look at their work. Do you know you can ask a contractor, hey Jim, would you mind if I just kind of see the work, some of the work that you've done recently? Hopefully what I want for you is you go out there and the contractor that you hire is already working on something, so you can walk in and kind of see how he does business. Does he keep the site clean? How does the stuff look? Because some contractors do work, but it's not necessarily the best work. I'm telling you, doors will be off angle, the walls will be out of square, light fixtures not in the center of the room, all type of stuff you got to keep your eye on. And in order for you to know who you're hiring, just go look at their past work so you know what they can do, all right? Number 11, hiring friends and family. Oh my Lord. I think we all know that ends up bad. See, the problem with hiring friends or family is they know Kris is such a nice guy. He'll let me slide. I know it's due by Friday, but we'll get another week. Kris will be okay. Here's a magic phrase in my house. Oh yeah, Kris has got it. Dad got it. Right? So you don't want to be put in that position dealing with your friends and family. Friends will take advantage of your kindness. So in order to circumvent that, just don't hire them, y'all. You'll be glad you did. All right, number 12, getting discounts on work. I know a lot of us are saying, Kris, why is getting discounts on construction work one of your biggest mistakes in doing real estate, hiring contractors? Well, I'm going to tell you. You see, when I do a job, I want to pay for services rendered. I want to pay for market value. I don't want to pay below market value for the contractor, because what could possibly happen? He's going to say, well, darn, Kris only paying me 70 cents on the dollar. I can get to him next week. I want to pay you what you're worth, market rate, because I expect you to get this thing done quickly and get it done in a timely manner, right? So don't give me a discount. Don't do that to me. People always say, well, I can get that done cheaper. I can get that done for $800. I'm like, you know what? You go ahead and get it done. I'm going to pay fair market value because I want my contractor to show up on time, and I want it done on time too. And further, getting discounts on work is not scalable. So if you're doing a bunch of houses like we are, electrical, like for this house here, electrical, let's say the electrical job is $5,000, but the dude can do it for $2,500 right now. It's not duplicatable because that $2,500 guy is not going to always be around to do the job. So you want to price jobs at market value because you want to get exactly what you pay for, right? Don't try to go out there and get a discount. People kill me. Nah, he's too high. He's going to cost too much. I can't use. Don't you want the stuff to get done quickly and deal with all the permits and inspections and all that so you can just get out? And the name of the game in real estate is volume. Boom, 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 boom. Volume and speed. Number 13, leaving out time is of the essence clause in your contract. That's a big one, y'all. You see, we want to put that in our contract because we want everybody that's involved to be held liable, whatever state you're in. So when you put time is of the essence, according to this law firm here, Hanner Loser, it allows us to exercise all contractual remedies available to us if there's a material breach. In other words, if one of us don't, well, usually it's going to be the contractor. Well, I guess it could be us if we don't pay on time. If the contractor doesn't finish in the right time, then we have time is of the essence when we go to court, and it falls under the contract law for your state. So just put it in there. Just write it in there and it's over. Number 14, not including late work penalties. Oh my Lord, let me tell you a story. When I built my house, horrible. The guy that I hired, I'm telling you, the worst architect, good God. And I knew it was going to be a problem because when I first hired him, he sent me the contract and I said, where is the penalty for work not being turned in on time? And he tells me, oh, Kris, I don't do that. Red flag, y'all. That's a red flag. Do you know he dragged me out for 6 to 7 months before he had the drawings done for my house right here? 6 months. What could I do? I was so pissed. I'm trying to get my house built. I can't get my loan because the drawings aren't done. I can't turn them into the city. It was a nightmare, y'all. I haven't even shared that with anybody because I'm still wrapping my mind around how long it took. And I really took a big loss on that. So if you have a late work penalty built into your contract, if they don't get the work done by November 1st, then you can charge them a daily fee or weekly fee or whatever you think is fair. You can take that off the money that you owe them. So put the late work penalty in there. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's $50 a day. Put something in there that's it's gonna hold the contractor at bay for getting this stuff done. I don't care if it's the architect, engineer, whatever, draftsman. Put a late payment penalty, a late work penalty in there. Number 15, not paying for materials only. So when you're first hiring a guy, back in the day, I would just say, like my fence guy, $1,500 for the fence. What I should have done was say, you know what, I'm gonna have the materials, the fencing delivered to the property, and then I'll pay you for your labor when you're done, all right? So what does that do? That takes the stress off of you paying everything up front. So when you pay for materials only, you can't necessarily lose because the materials have been delivered to the site. All you're paying for is the labor for the contractor to get there. And with labor, you can pay as you go. You can pay, okay, you got 5 pieces of fence in, here's $300. You got 8 pieces of fence in, here's $500. But the fencing is already there. So try not to, if you don't know the guy or if you're a little nervous, try not to necessarily pay for labor and materials in all one type of payment. You know what, as I'm talking to y'all, I missed one. I'm thinking in my head, I'm gonna give you a bonus at the end of this video, one that I did miss. I did miss that one. So it should be 20, I'm gonna give you a bonus, it's 22. Big one too. Number 16, not getting a W-9. Do you know the IRS has audited me twice and every time I turned out okay? But that's because I have W-9s. What is that? A W-9 is a document that says if I give you $50,000, that means I'm gonna report to the IRS that I gave you that 50. So when you get audited and you say, well, Mr. IRS auditor, I paid Joe Schmo contractor $50,000 for some work done. Oh, well, prove it to me. Well, here's the canceled checks. Well, the IRS auditor will ask you, well, Mr. Haskins, how do we know? How do we know that Joe didn't cash those checks and give you the money back? Well, you can't prove that, can you? You can't prove that you didn't give him the check and then he give you the cash. So if you do a W-9, get your contractor to sign that. At the end of the year, you're gonna say, look, IRS, I paid this guy 50 grand out of my hands. Whether he claimed it or not, that's on him. So that's an expense that you need to deduct. This 50,000 went out. So do not hire anybody and pay them over $600 without getting a W-9. I'm telling y'all, my first audit was horrible. I said I paid $4 grand for this, whoever I had paid. The auditor was like, all right, show me the proof. Now, canceled checks are one thing, but that's not necessarily proof that you paid somebody. That's proof that you wrote them a check and they cashed it. That necessarily means that they didn't, that they didn't do what was right with the money or they didn't split it with you. So be careful with that one. Number 17, paying a deposit after paying for materials. Now, this one comes in from one of our Roundup family members. Let's flash his name up there. Thank you so much for giving me this one. I didn't necessarily do this one, but this is the big one too. So if you paid for a deposit, let's go back to our materials one, which was at paying for materials. Number 15. Say you pay for the materials and you got it all there. Boom, you got $1,000 in materials. What some contractors might do is say, well, I need now a deposit for my labor as we go. Don't do that. Don't give a deposit just for labor, y'all. So thank you for submitting that one. I appreciate that. Number 18, I didn't set milestone payment structures. What does that mean? So as you're going through large $150,000, $200,000 contracts, you're gonna need to know when the draws will be sent out, right? So you make the first payment, let's say you pay 10 grand up front, whatever it's gonna be, or whatever it is, 5 grand. We need to know when is the next time that we should be expecting some money to be sent out, another draw to go out to the contractor. Now that's going to be when, whatever the milestone we set. So let's set the first milestone, when all the electrical's done, passed. When all the plumbing is done and passed, city and my inspection. When all the flooring is done, all the light fixtures are in, when all the floor tile is in, when all the doors have been installed. That's a milestone that people can say, boom, all the doors in? All right, cool, here's your check. Don't do something by handshake and words and say, well, I'll pay you I'm gonna pay you. We'll go along and figure out when's the best time for the next draw after we get some of the work done. Know exactly. You have to know exactly when the next milestone for your next draw is. And we do that by including that in our contract. When the door's in, how about when the windows? Then you get a next draw. All right. So don't. That's a big one because contractors, you know, they always want to get paid earlier, and we always want to pay later. So it's crazy. You want to make sure that you're clear with that, and you won't make your contractor upset by doing this. He will get upset if he has one thing in mind and you have something else in mind, and it's just nasty. All right. Number 19, not include broom swept clean clause. I didn't include that. You see, you want your site to be clean. You got money people coming by. You got city. I've had city inspectors come to a site, look inside and say, I'm not coming in there because the contractor didn't keep the place broom swept clean. So every time they leave in the evening time, they need to sweep it all up. I don't want to see any type of debris on the floor, no trash, no wood chips, no lumber. You know, they cut all this lumber up, then they just leave it everywhere. No siding, no bricks, broom swept clean. So when you walk in, you can do your inspections. You don't have to move, hardwood floor, tile chips everywhere, the sheathing. You don't want to have to move that stuff to do your inspection. All right, so include that so they know when they leave the site, and not just inside, outside too. I don't want siding thrown around everywhere, shingles, metal wrapping, soffit, fascia board, all that stuff gets on the ground and it looks nasty. It makes the neighborhood look bad, and you don't want to be one of the person that's responsible for bringing the look of the neighborhood down, right? All right, 1920. I forgot to verify insurance, workman's comp and liability insurance. So if a guy is doing a roof at your property, guy falls off the roof, breaks his neck, it's not the guy that you're worried about. You're worried about the guy's attorney. Okay, because the guy might be, I'll deal with it. But the guy's attorney, because his wife is going to call an attorney to go represent him. So that's why you need workman's comp to take care of that, and all type of liability insurance just in case somebody gets hurt on the job. You don't want to cover this stuff, all right? So make sure you verify that you read it. It's got their name on there, your name on there, the site where they're working at, all that stuff. Number 21, we got two more to go. I got one that I just remembered I didn't put on here. 21, hiring a guy that can start tomorrow. Oh my Lord, I know how it is, Roundup family. I know you bought this property, you got 150, 200,000 out, you got those mortgage payments on your mind, all that money out there, you got your down payment out, and you're thinking, Lord, I need to get this started on this renovation now, right today. I don't care who can do this job right now. You're looking contractor, day goes by, week goes by, you haven't found the contractor yet. You haven't found the guy that you're gonna work with. Let me tell you, it is best to hire a contractor that can start on your job 30 to 45, maybe 60 days out. It's always best to have your house sitting vacant than to have a bad contractor or a bad tenant inside working or living. We're not talking about tenants. Now, if you want to learn my 20 biggest mistakes on my being a landlord, that's going to be right here. But let's get back to our contractor. So I want the guy, he's so good. He's in demand. He ain't got time to be sitting around waiting for you. For the guy that can tell you, yeah, I can start tomorrow. That's the same thing happened with my fence guy. They came to look at the fence. They told me they could start tomorrow. I don't want you. If you can start tomorrow, you're not the guy I'm looking for. I'm looking for the guy that has scheduled work. He's got 2 jobs he's working on. He's going to be finished the job in about 30, 45, maybe 60 days. That way he can pencil me in because he's that good at doing this job. He's got his craft down. He's got his subs. He's got his workers, all that stuff. Now he's got his scheduling down. So if the guy can start tomorrow, he ain't that good. He's not in demand. And you shouldn't be hiring that guy either. So I got one bonus one for you. I just remembered that one. I learned this one from my man Welby. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I learned this one from my guy Welby on IG. Good friend of mine. The guy's a monster investor. One of the things that I learned from him was I didn't pay contractors with credit cards. You should pay contractors with credit cards, right? Let me tell you why. Listen real closely here. Did you know the credit card companies are in business to protect the consumer? So when somebody buys a product or service from me and they say, I want my money back, the credit card company automatically takes the money back from me. And then I have to prove that I either shipped it or I provided the service to the consumer. So it's going to look like if you hire a contractor, let's say you did 20 grand on your credit card and they didn't do the $20,000 worth of work, they might have done 5. The credit card company will take the money back from the contractor and then make the contractor prove that they did the work for you. So hiring, one of my biggest mistakes, not using credit cards to hire contractors, which I've started to do, because the credit card is like another insurance policy. Now, the contractors will say, well, if you pay me with a credit card, I got to add 3% on. Okay, cool. That's just like paying for an insurance policy. Don't be mad or scared to do that. The credit card company is going to be your layer of protection to getting the work done the way you want it to get done. All right. So I am knighting you now. Congratulations, you've done it. Now you know my 21, 22 things that my biggest mistakes in hiring contractors. You can get out there and you won't have to worry about when you go hire your next contractor. Just take the paper with you. I'm giving it to you for free. You don't even have to pay me for it. All right, does the guy start tomorrow? Do I have a W-9? Did I get it? Oh, no, didn't do that. Is he asking for all the money up front? Don't want to do that. Does he have workman's comp insurance? I don't know about that. Did we set a milestone for the payment structure? Did he give me a scope of work? You got it all right here. Don't leave anything to question when you're dealing with contractors, because I promise you, you're going to end up with the short end of the stick. Happens every time. To this day, it still happens to me too. And I've been doing this since 2004. All right, Roundup. So make sure you, in order for us to get the word out, share to other investors, homeowners that are thinking about hiring contractors so they won't get burned like I did. Like this content and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. You got to work this stuff. All right, see you soon.